I'm re-recording this video on an overview of the Lrig website using the Google Apps thing in 720p. I did this before in full 1080p, and it's blurry when I uploaded it to YouTube. So basically, this shows branding of a website. This is a possible website that we could use. There are 8 tabs for the different chapters shown here, a home tab for the global site, along with 5 additional tabs which show quick links to various areas for global LRIG content. Now, these could all be put under the home tab, but I sort of like them out here, making them readily available. Basically, we have the About page, which tells more about LRIG, the Join page, so it's easy to figure out how to join. A LinkedIn discussion page, where this sort of uh, highlights that we're not abandoning discussions. We're just consolidating our discussions onto the LinkedIn rather than having them fragmented between our website and the LinkedIn discussion groups. Clicking on this link will open up a new page where people can join. This is very difficult to find this web page on LinkedIn. This makes it easy. If they can member lrig.org, they can easily get to the right place. A single events tab where all the events and all the vendor information and all the hyperlinks to uh, places on our site and on external sites that are important for attendees and vendors to see. A place where presentations can be uploaded here. And speaking of that, there's this site box where you can put in anything you want to search for, and it will do a full text search of almost all types of documents that are uploaded onto the site or that are part of the site. So this is a very good way to find information that you're looking for. Today, I like to go through the Home tab for Lrig Global and Philadelphia tab as an example of a way to set up the individual chapters, the way I recommend. The way I set up the other chapters here are different, so you can see different capabilities in some ways. They were also modeled after how how higher logic was set up for the different chapters. Uh, so let's start with a little overview of the home page. You can't see as much of the home page since I put it at a lower resolution, but we have an events area here. And this shows you all the information I think is necessary for events. You have the dates, the chapter hosting it, a title with a hyperlink so that you can go to a full web page dedicated to that event in itself, which will give the attendees all the information they need about it, a location where it's at. So based on all this information, you could figure out whether you're interested in it or not. And a link for free registration right on the home page, so you don't have to go and dig somewhere further if you're interested in just registering for the event. Uh, if you want more detail, the event, these view more and the event tab all go to the same place. Let me scroll down and show this Elri Global announcements only. See individual chapter tabs for local announcements. So here's a announcement. Most of these announcements were just ones I set up for the executive board as I was setting up the website. And if you click on this link, it will go to a full web page where that announcement is provided. Uh, and then we have over here how to benefit most from LRIG membership. So this is the static content that's on the first page. All the rest of this is dynamic, that it's taken from the event tab or taken from a tab where the posting was done. And I'll go through this, and I recommend that you go through and click on each one of these links and then just click the back link and go through the next one to get a tour of the website, sort of tutorial on how to best use the website. There are recent presentations shown down here. You can see you can have links to YouTube videos. We can have PowerPoint presentations and even have an embedded presentation. This is one to Andy's presentation he gave in Texas, where you can click through the slides right here. You can have a slideshow. You can go full screen view. So this is very nice here. So let me go through this, how to benefit most from LRIG membership. So to become a member, it's free and no passwords to remember. So welcome to become a member. So you come out to this form. You put in an email address, you choose your local chapter affiliation. You can choose no chapter close to me, or you can choose one of the locations that's close to you, your preferred chapter. So this allows us to collect information on people who are not served by a local chapter. Perhaps a local chapter can be developed in their area. First name, last name, company, zip code. These are required fields. 5-digit zip code. We suggest outside the U.S. put 54321 to put in a number. People are automatically opted in to receiving events from chapters. They have the option to come and say they like a maximum of two or only for my local chapters, or no, I will check website or subscribe to RSS feeds. So that's there. They can choose whatever other chapters they want to join. So they can choose the Mid Atlantic chapters if they like. If they also want Philadelphia, they can do that. If they like New England and upstate, so they're interested in the East Coast area, they can go through and check the appropriate boxes. Uh, Now we have a spot where vendors can subscribe to advanced notification of exhibitor opportunities for their chapters, and then they would get information ahead of time. And there's also a way to poll people to see if they're interested in being active members and contributing in a leadership role within the chapter. And they hit subscribe, and you've clicked through this, so I won't go through it anymore. So that's to become a member. There's a link where they can update their membership information on every email they get from us. They would have a link at the bottom, which would allow them to do it. If they want to generate an email, they can go in and click this link and it will explain how to do that. They can participate in discussions on LinkedIn where we have over 9,000 members. This link will get them there, just like the link up here. They can see our free event tab and learn about Lrig. So that's the About tab and the Event tab. The Event tab has information in there for vendors, um, and it shows where the vendors can get reserve their spot and pay. A link for where they can get additional information and where they can email if they need to contact somebody. So that's our event page. Um, so this highlights that fact for vendors that they can see all the Lrig hosted events in one place. They can see our global announcements in a single page, or it's also on the home page. So if I click this link, it will open up. There's a place where you can subscribe to RSS feeds. That's true for all our chapter posts and announcements too. And this page has all the different announcements there. But if you click on one of the hyperlinks, you go to a dedicated page that only is for uh, that announcement. So I'm going to go back. And if you visit our chapter page, it will show the different chapters we have. It also shows the ones around the world. And then here are the chapter announcements, the chapter events, the chapter vendor info, and the links. So clicking on these will be an easy way to go through and get to those, especially for the person who's posting to these um, information. Okay, and you can search presentations on the presentation tab, or you can see the most recent ones on here. So that's a quick overview of the home tab. I encourage you again to click through this. Let me go through Philadelphia tab. So I like to set this up with the Lrig Philadelphia chapter homepage. Let us know how we can serve you. We look forward to hearing from you, and give our email address to encourage people to contact the leadership, so we know how we can best serve our chapters. And then a little bit up close and personal with our board and our ex- leadership team there. The Philly events are shown here. This region here shows the two is limited to two events I put down there. I sort of view one current event and the last event. That could certainly be changed as a default. So clicking on this will go to the event page for a previous event. This will go to one where we're planning, and it keeps getting updated as more and more information comes, so that there's only one place that we really need to update it. It's on that web page, except for like the contact information that goes onto the event tab. Um, there's a place for exhibitor information. So just like we have it for the attendees, the vendors will have a place where we can put all the vendor information for the venue and details that a vendor needs to know for a particular event. And I have lists listed. This is going to be limited to one, so just for the most current one, but they could see previous ones. And just like these announcements, they stay here forever. The newest ones go on the top, and the older ones will come to the bottom. And the for upcoming and current events, you can go to the event tab, but on each chapters, the newest event will be on the top, and it'll just go down. So it's like an announcement kind of format. There's a place to upload files, like here's our mission statement loaded up. This is the program for New England, actually, but I loaded up here just to show you with more than one. And then I have various Philly chapter announcements. And these are things that I posted on the original website for Lrig, but these are ones that I would envision mailing out with MailChimp to our people. This one says call for announcements. The one before that was call for topics. Uh, and this one says, how can we serve you? And if I click on this, it will go to the full page. And you can see that it's possible on any of these web pages actually to make an attachment of a document to the web page too. So it's there rather than just the place where we have the files and links. So I'm going to go back to where I was and go back to the top. Um, okay, so that's a pretty good survey of it. Now, there are a few things which are just examples of things here. Here's a table of contents that can be put on the page. This is auto generated by the system. It's just taking the headings and making an outline from it. I think this is particularly useful if we're going to go back to the style of having event announcements for attendees, which will show uh, the speakers, the speaker bio, the speaker's abstract, having vendors where a little blurb as to why they should come and see the vendors, what's new and exciting there, and information about the food. So all this and the venue information, so stuff can be on that page, one big page, but it's hard to navigate. I always found it hard, but this would at the top would make it easy to jump to the right section of that page that you are looking for. Um, Now, here's something to give you an idea of the website line. This is something that's auto-generated too. You tell it where you want to start in the tree of the website, and it will go down. So here we have our About Philly chapter. Sub under that is Philly chapter history page. This is announcements to the Philly chapter. The system, when you post an announcement, it automatically creates a new web page underneath for you for that announcement. And these go chronologically as you create them. So you don't have to worry about where to put your web page. But when you make an announcement, you have full capabilities of making multiple layouts, schemes that you want for a web page. So you're not limited in terms of your layouts. The events for Phillies the same way. So the fall social, the spring exhibit, they come underneath here automatically. Files and links, and then for vendors, the same thing for the vendor events for Philly. Every time there's a post, it comes underneath that automatically in the way that it's lined up. Um, so that shows pretty much with the Philly layout. So let me jump back to the home tab and then just sort of go over. So membership, we have a single way to get members that's fully integrated with our emailing system. You have MailChimp that can be used for that. We've got Eventbrite to be used for the attendee links. You can click through this and see an example. I made it two steps for it, but it will go there. And that will be a way that vendors can pay. It will be a way that free attendees can RSVP their information. And so we can also so what's the cost of all this? The cost of it in large part is free. There will be no ongoing cost except with the asterisk of free is that I suggest that we have a paid MailChimp account. But rather than having one where we pay so much per month and get unlimited emails to 2,000 people or something like that, that we have an account where we pay as you go, where we could have up to 50,000 people on our list, and we would pay on the order of less than a half a cent per email that goes out, and that all depends on how many stamps we buy. And so you essentially use one cost per email. So figure about a half a cent per email as an ongoing cost, but no other ongoing cost for the Mailchimp. And the same is true for the Eventbrite. Uh, it would be essentially free for us, with the proviso the following is that when we collect money from a vendor, when they do a checkout, there's a certain fee, and that fee can automatically be passed on to the vendor. That's the default. There's a charge of for say $1,000 ticket, it would be $7.75 for the fee if we register as a 403, a 501c3 organization. Uh, so that's a fixed fee. And then there is a charge of 3% for accepting the credit card. And that can all be passed on. If you don't want to pass on that fee and you want to absorb it, you can use PayPal. And PayPal, if you sell over $10,000 a month, then your rate would be 2.2% for taking the credit card. So that's an option. They can be set up separately for each event, so you don't have to have a single event. Uh, the- when an event is created in MailChimp, excuse me, in Eventbrite, it can be sucked into MailChimp. MailChimp can be used to do the emailing out of the event notices. And So we can have that sort of integrated together. Um, what am I forgetting? Okay, so let me last go through how one will add content to this. So what would you do, or people in your chapters do, who you would like to give access to? I say one of the advantages of this system here is that we don't have to rely on an external webmaster who we pay, who has a single access to the account. That when you want to make changes to any static content, you have to go and do it. I mean, we can get access. Scott, and Andy have ownership rights to the whole site, and we can give rights to anybody. And you guys all have rights to the common areas for posting and to your individual chapters. And we can give rights to pretty much whoever responsible person there is. If you want to do something, you got to sign in, and you sign in from the bottom of the page. And that's where you would sign in. There's information on how to do that under this Lrig Global Admin website update. So there's all kinds of information on here about how to do most of this thing, but I'm going to show you very quickly how easy it is to do. So what I'm going to do is just bring over a window here where I'm already signed in. Let's see. Okay, I'm signed in, and when I go to a page where I have rights to, like this LRIG global ad, well, let me just go to this announcements. So if I go to this, you see this pops up at the top. It's got my name and it's got certain things that you have access to. So there's the ability to edit a page, there's ability to create new pages, and there's certain things that you have access to. But pretty much what you need to do is use this new post button down here. So this button wasn't there before. It's right next to the RSS feed. If I want to create a new global announcement, I just hit the new post button. It will create a new page, and I'll have certain capabilities up here to edit it in terms of changing the layouts, changing in the formats, and all that capabilities in there. The biggest problem is getting the content in. You get the content in. I mean, Scott Relander is very good at making very professional looking announcements and kinds of things. So that's good. The same thing is true for chapters. So this is how you would go and post a global announcement. You see this chapters button. If I hit that, that brings us up to a table where we can go through and make a chapter announcement for Philly. And you come here, and here's where you do the new post. And if I go back, I can go here and say events Philly chapter. And this is where I would go and make an event for attendees. I'd say new post and say, well, okay, this is the fall 2016 scientific presentation. So if I wanted to go in and put vendor information, vendor chapter information, I click here and I have a new post for the vendor info for Philly and do that. And if I want to add some links, I can click here and I bring it to the page that adds to the links. So that makes it pretty easy for you to find the right location. It's easy to put these links into it. It's part of the site. Um, Another way to do it is pretty much like on the Philly site. If we go down these, this announcements brings us to the same location that we were just at, where we can do the posting. The files and links brings us to a place where we can add files, add links, and subscribe to changes that are there. The events for the Philly chapter again can be posted, and the vendor info can be posted, and then you can also go down this, and this is just an email link that will open up a contact us. Now if I go back here to Philadelphia when I'm on one of these, this brings us back to the home page that I'm on. So you play with this a little bit, you'll see the way to navigate through. A lot of it's like the higher logic site in some ways, but everything is very straightforward. You always know where you're at with the color that's on the top of the document. There's really only a very simple tree structure to it. So, so if you have any questions, I'd be glad to answer them. If you want to set up time to just go through and walk through the site, we can do that. No problems. So hopefully this video will be a little more in focus when I upload it to YouTube. All right, guys. Thanks. Take care. Bye. Okay, we're just looking at here to sort of maximize our thing. We're at a screen resolution of, um, I don't know why it says that. It's supposed to be 1280 by 720. So we have that kind of thing for the resolution. It says it's lower than 1024 by 768. I don't know if that's a problem or not. Well, I'm going to go in and just look to see how this video is seeable.